What's up, everybody? This is Chris, along with my co host, Crystal, and this is the Pedal Dance Podcast. And we started our own podcast because we are Pokemon fans, and well, Gen 8 just got mentioned that it is coming to the Switch later this year. And Crystal and I, we've been fans ever since the very beginning, all the way back in Gen 1. And we just wanted to do this podcast to give our thoughts, opinions, speculation about what's going to happen in these upcoming games, Shield and Sword. Isn't that right, Crystal?
Oh yeah, not only just that, this is our Pokemon podcast station, so we can make a lot of videos about top tens, just thoughts on what we can expect in even future generations, and the ideas are pretty much endless. But given this video is our very first video, we just thought it was appropriate to talk about Generation 8 since the news is pretty recent. So yes, they announced the Galar region, which it looks like it's based off of the UK, and the three starters, Grookey, the grass type, Scorbunny, the fire type, and Sobble, the water type. And my personal perspective of them, I actually like them all. This is the first time since Johto, since I liked all the starters without really much complaints, just based on initial reaction. And the Galar region itself looks pretty large. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Well, on the starters, they are all flipping adorable. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to pick based on final evolutions, but for me, my mind is already made up. I'm Team Sobble. I'm not changing my mind no matter how the final evolution looks. The region looks amazing. The music is amazing. I'm just really pumped for these games to come out.
Oh yeah, same here. I'm still on the fence about which starter I'll get. I've narrowed it down to Grookey or Sobble. Sorry, Scorbunny, but of course, I'm one of those people who's going to base it off the final evolution between those two. So, shame on me, I guess. Um,
For
so,
shame, you definitely.
so with the three starters, even though you already have your mind made up, do you think any of them will get a secondary typing? A lot of people are talking about that. A lot of people are worried Scorbunny looks so athletic and with a band-aid that it'll become firefighting, and then a lot of people's perceptions of Scorbunny will just be ruined by that. What are your thoughts on all their typings?
Um, to me, the only one that I could see staying monotype is Sobble. Um, Grookey, I could see it going maybe grass ground or possibly even grass dark. Scorbunny, I do not want it to go firefighting. No, not again. I could possibly see it going two ways: Fire Fairy, which I personally want, or Fire Electric, which seems to be what most people want. And I can see why that is the biggest want from pretty much everybody that I've seen on Facebook and stuff like that, because it is in the UK. It is, from what I heard, it could be based off a soccer player, which athletic, the bandages are not just for fighting, they're for athletes in general. And to play soccer, you have to have a lot of energy. And with that, it just makes sense to be, energetic and electric, and and that's why I could see it being fire electric. But I still want it to be fire fairy. I still want that. What about you?
So, I'm talking about Scorbunny first. I don't think it's going to become firefighting. I really don't, because I felt like the complaints after the Tepeg line. I think that got back to the Pokemon Company and the designers, and I think that Incineroar's design was a little bit more of a troll for the fans. Like, okay, here's this cute little fire kitten Pokemon, and then all of a sudden it becomes um a wrestler. So we're gonna think it looks part fighting, and even though it looks like it can be fighting, they just twisted it to make it part dark. And I think they're trolling us again with Scorbunny. Like, it has the athleticism, the band-aid. It looks like it could go fighting any day. But I think they can turn that a band-aid into an electric pouch. Like, I believe it's going to be part electric if it gets a secondary typing. I can still see it as a mono fire type throughout its entire evolutionary line. And my personal opinion, I think it would be refreshing to have starters that have all mono types. We haven't had that since, again, Johto. I mean, of course, my preference is a secondary typing. It helps it makes the game more exciting, but it would just be really unique to have that all in common. But I can see Scorbunny being part fairy, part ground as well. Outside of that, can't really see anything else. Sobble, definitely mono water, or I can see it picking up poison. A lot of people on the internet are saying it's going to pick up Ghost because it can go invisible. But a lot of
Kecleon, but it's normal type.
Wait, what?
I said so can Kecleon, but it's normal type. So that doesn't really mean it can go it Ghost.
Normal type with an asterisk. But I was going to say Vaporeon has been in the water. It uses acid armor and becomes essentially invisible in the water. And Vaporeon's purely water, so I can't say that I'm ruling it out becoming part ghost, but I need more reasons than just that for me to suspect it would become part ghost. But Grookey, I think that is the biggest wild card for guessing a possible secondary type. I can see it monograss, I can see it fighting, I can see it ground and dark. I can't really. Grookey is definitely a bit of a mystery. I guess that's one of the reasons why I love Grookey.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. And just because I can see Sobble staying monotype, that doesn't mean I think it will. Because like you said, I could also see it going part poison, or heck, I can even see it going part dragon.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have been saying that on the internet too. It's just I don't have the most positive opinion of dragons, so that kind of slipped my mind. So apologies for that. And so that's our thoughts about Gen 8 so far. So do you have any expectations other than those typings we talked about?
For the starters, or just in general?
In general, for Generation 8 as a whole.
Well, one expectation that I really want met is the fact of early game ice types. And I know you're one person who really wants that as well. Because Gen 7, you didn't really get much with that. I don't.
Smoochum. Oh no, Delibird. Delibird too. The best ice type in existence.
Yeah.
I really hope our audience can tell when I'm sarcastic.
I'm pretty sure they can. I just hope for more exploring, more getting to actually check things out. Because I wouldn't say totally open world, because I could tell it's not going to be totally open world, but I just want there to be more to explore and actually feel like you're on a real Pokemon journey. Because I don't know, the last couple generations didn't really feel that way to me. It didn't feel like it used to feel back in red, blue, silver, and gold, and even ruby and sapphire. That's just something I wish they would bring back. I don't know if that's just me or if other people feel that way,
Well, I guess that's a good thing we're having this conversation because I can't really say that I am in your shoes. I think they have improved over time. There's just like in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, the whole Latios and Latios, sky travel. Like I thought that was super unique, and it's not necessarily open world, but a huge step towards it. But yeah, I think it would be hard to manage a game that's completely open world, but to have more aspects of it would definitely be more cool.
Well, I just want places where I don't want any places that you cannot access in the game, if that makes sense.
Oh, like how in X and Y, where there are a lot of doors in a desert that have never been used and no way to open them?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
I was
every
pretty butthurt about that
place,
too.
every place in the game I want to be accessible to the player. Even if, well, of course, it's going to have to wait till you're able to access the area, but still, I want every area in the game to be able to be accessed.
Oh, and to bridge off that, do you remember, like, in Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl, there was a Darkrai on a faraway island? Shaman, I believe, also was on a island or some kind of extension off of an island, and Arceus, you had to use a flute to essentially walk up some, like, sky ladders. No, sorry, sky steps. I wish they could bring those type of in-game mythical events back. Because after Gen 4, they just essentially had these events like, here, download your mythical and call it a day. Like, that's not exciting.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, my recollection of Gen 4 isn't really that clear. Like, I remember playing it, beating it, and all that, but it's just, I don't remember much about it. So I
Oh,
slightly remember what you're talking about, but yeah, just slightly, not fully.
well, those were also events, so I would imagine most people wouldn't recollect everything about them. But speaking of Gen 4, I believe after of the new release this year that next year or the year after we'll get Diamond and Pearl remakes. That's my expectation. How about you?
I think that's everybody's expectation, honestly.
I mean, it kind of fits the pattern. Um,
Agreed.
and it'll be really cool to play Diamond and Pearl on the Switch, where the graphics are just incredible.
Agreed. Okay, Crystal, one more question.
And that question is,
What about new evolutions?
oh
What type
yeah,
what typing are you hoping for?
well, I want to speculate that it's possible that there won't be any new evolutions that would, and just from my perspective, deviate from their patterns. They introduced evolutions from the get go, they introduced new ones every other generation. However, that number has deteriorated. Um, they introduced three from the get go, and then two, two, one with Sylveon. And on top of that, Sylveon was also a brand new type fairy. So it's very possible that what we have now is what we'll always have. I mean, I hate to bring bad news or even talk about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. But based on the pattern of introducing evolutions every other generation, if we get a new evolution, I can tell you what I expect and what I want. So they are both different. What I expect a dragon evolution. Just because I feel like when evolutions are introduced, they kind of complement each other in a way. like Espeon and Umbreon, Dark and Psychic, Leafeon and Glaceon, Grass and Ice, and then Sylveon, which is Fairy, and then Dragon, which can be delayed into this generation, and everyone's just hyped on the idea of a Dragon evolution. And then I actually recently learned this. Before Generation 4, and you have that special physical split in the game, all types were either classified as physical or special attacks. Like all water moves were special, all flying moves were physical, for example. And every single evolution that has been introduced has been a special type. There has not been a physical type, except dragons, the only special type that hasn't been made into an evolution. So I feel like just following the pattern, if we get a new evolution, it's going to be dragon. But as stated earlier, I don't have the most positive opinion of dragon typing, so I'm personally hoping for a flying evolution, just because we don't have many mono flying types. I mean, flying's the most common type out there, but we only have Tornadus, I believe, as the only mono flying type, and it'll be really cool to see what kind of design concept they'll go about it with in evolution. Whether or not it would sprout wings, which I hope not, because the Eevee line's supposed to be a fox line. So I kind of hope some kind of like Skywalker evolution that just manages to walk on clouds and skies. But what are your evolution expectations and hopes?
Well, expectations. I expect, honestly, I would agree with you that it's probably going to be dragon type. And honestly, that's one of the ones I want the least, just because I'm not a big fan of dragon typings. Sorry to everybody who is. That's just me. The evolution that I do want, there's two of them. The first one I want is a steel type evolution.
Which
I
a lot of
wanted that.
people, oh, sorry, not to cut you off, but a lot of people are suspecting we'll get a steel type this generation as well, just because that generation looks more industrialized. But you can continue, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. And yeah, I know that's being speculated, but it's one of those things I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And another one that I want, I just want a fighting type evolution. Is that so much to ask? I just want it. Just because a lot of people don't, and I can laugh and say I got it right.
Well, if you want a fighting type, because a lot of people don't, I know a lot of people would be really angry if they got a normal type evolution over like dragon. So do you want a normal evolution? Eevee just evolves into this big ball of normal fluff.
Still better than dragon.
And we just lost half of our viewers.
Hey, if they have different opinions, then they can post it in the comments. That's what the comment section is there for.
But just so this is not a dragon bashing video, Flygon is one of my favorite Pokemon of all times. I'm just throwing that out there. And that reminds me, people are speculating armor evolution, that Charizard, Mewtwo, Flygon, and Zoroark are getting armor evolutions. You can go first. What's your opinion of that, if that were to be true?
Okay, first off, let me say this. I do have a favorite dragon type, and it is Garchomp. So don't think that it's just my least favorite typing. I just not a fan of a lot of them, like Salamence. I don't like Salamence. I don't really like like Kyurem, Zekrom, and Reshiram.
And now we're this video.
But I do like Garchomp, so that's something at least. And going to the armor evolutions, Digimon.
My
That's
thoughts exactly. Well, don't get me wrong, I love Mega Evolution. It was just so game changing and made a lot of Pokemon more usable. But you gotta admit that's similar to Digi Evolution, and if they use Armor Evolution, oof, I think that's just too much like Digimon at that point. I mean, I'm a fan of both Pokemon and Digimon, but of course Pokemon more. But I think they can go about a different kind of power up than Armor Evolution. So I honestly hope that is just a rumor and nothing more. But Flygon needs something. They failed to give Flygon a Mega Evolution due to Writer's Block, which, being the enthusiastic Flygon fan I am, I was sad about that. But if they were going to squeeze out a forced design, I'm glad that that did not happen, because we all have a Mega Evolution design that we're not a fan of. And I did not want to experience that with Flygon, so I'd rather have no Mega Evolution for Flygon than a failed one. So I'm expecting Mega Evolution to make a return, introducing more Megas. I believe this is enough time to get over a writer's design block for a Mega Flygon. I'm expecting a lot of cool designs and even unique abilities. And that does remind me, there's a rumor about a new status condition, I believe called Fear Dark type, that reduces accuracy and removes stab. Your thoughts on that, Chris?
I think that is amazing. I think that is going to change a lot in the competitive scene, honestly. It's just we haven't had a new status since whatever.
Well,
I don't
yeah.
think we've had since every status we've had has been there since Gen 1, and we're just now in Gen 8, just now getting a new status if it happens. I'm excited for it. I think that is really, really flipping cool. I'm excited for it. What about you?
I hope that that rumor is completely true. Again, we have not had a new status condition since then. Of course, I believe Generation 1 did not have badly poisoned, with Toxic being introduced in Gen 2, but that was still poison nonetheless. And then we've had entry hazard since then, but a new status condition, I am arms wide open for it, and I think that would help put a check on Pokemon with adaptability as their ability. I mean, I love Mega Lucario, but that would definitely shake some things up.
Wait a minute. Toxic was part of Gen 1.
Wait, was it? I'm looking this up right now.
I am right now.
Okay, yeah, you do that then.
Yeah, it was part of Gen 1.
Oh. Well, my bad. So Badly Poison has also been around since then. I apologize to all the Pokemon fans that I just blew trivia knowledge right there.
I'm not sure if it was badly poisoned back then. I think it might have been just poisoned, but yeah, the
I'm pretty sure it's always been badly poisoned. Otherwise, it's no different than poison gas.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that makes it even more sad that we haven't had anything since then. Of course, burn damage has been altered, and Will-O-Wisp's accuracy has gone up and down, but yeah, that makes me even more welcoming to it. And thank you so much for correcting me about Toxic.
Oh, no problem. Always here to help.
Okay, so I guess not really too much to talk about. Pokemon gyms are supposedly making a comeback. Cerebi said that Nintendo of America tweeted that they are no longer called gym leaders, rather gym masters, but the tweet got removed. Um, I personally don't think that is really much worth talking about, but do you think the gyms, their structure, their processes are any different?
I mean, you might have to go through more stuff to actually get to the gym master. But as far as battling, no, I don't really think it's going to be much different at all. To me, it's just they just changed the word leader to master, and that's literally it. I don't see how it's going to be any different than a regular gym leader.
Well, it
Of course,
definitely looks different with it looking like a huge soccer field match. They're saying we'll also only have 5 gyms instead of 8.
not sure
Which,
how to feel about
for me, it's more of a neutral feeling. Like, the 8 number is a little bit overused, and even in anime, they talk about, oh, in this region, you'll need to get 8 badges, so that I feel like that implies in a lot of regions that it's not always 8, so I would love for that different feel. But personally, I like more of a challenge. I would like more than just 8 gym badges.
Well, there's always Gen 9 to come around.
Gym 9 or just replay Johto games in which you can get badges from Johto and Kanto. Um, but yeah, I can't really say I don't have a lot of thoughts on the gyms right now, just because there's a lot of information that we do not have. I've
Right.
noticed, everyone has noticed the new symbol. It looks like a distorted Pokeball with 3 white dot-like symbols in it. Do you know what I'm referring to in the
I
trailer?
do. I do.
Okay, so do you have any thoughts on what that could mean? Because I know there was a symbol for Mega Evolution, there was a symbol for Z moves. What do you think this is a symbol for, if anything?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I remember you telling me something that you had a theory about. What was it that you had?
Well, of course, this is just a theory, but when I look at it, I think like it looks like a cycle, like synergy, so to speak. So that makes me wonder, how can you put something that's like a cycle in a Pokemon battle, because you can Mega Evolve during battle, you could use Z moves during battle. This was outside of a gym, so it looks like something you can apply during a battle as well. And of course, it would have to be unique. They're not going to use that symbol to reuse a Mega Evolution and Z moves, I think. And of course, the concept of triple battles and rotation battles have been used, and that's not a symbol for those. So it makes me think that your Pokemon that's on the field can use other resources, whether that would be from your Pokemon, another player's Pokemon, an NPC's Pokemon. I'm not really sure. That symbol is pretty vague, but I feel like the battling Pokemon has access to reusable resources. That's what the symbol personally is telling me.
Well, that's an interesting concept. It's actually really cool. It's a really cool idea.
Oh yeah, I
Well,
just hope that symbol is used for something instead of
yeah,
just
not
decoration.
not just some logo that they just decided just to add.
I mean, knowing Pokemon, that's not going to be the case. It's going to mean something. But
Right.
Do you have any other theories, speculations, or anything else about Generation 8 before we wrap up?
At this moment, no, not until the next trailer, at least. What about you?
Right now, can't really say I have any other speculations. A lot of what we just covered is generally what a lot of people are talking about. Oh, I guess there's one more mention. People are talking about how much Pokemon Go has an influence on this game. Based on the trailer, it looks like none, but then again, it's a limited amount of information. I am more of the mainstream story playing fan over Pokemon Go, so I hope there's very little aspects of Pokemon Go incorporated into the game. How about you?
Pokemon Go is a time waster at best for me. I haven't touched it in a couple weeks. I'm not. I'm more of a main story person as well, so I agree with what you said. Not hating on anybody who likes Pokemon Go, but that's just not my cup of tea. And me personally, along with Crystal, I would prefer it to have less um things to do with Pokemon Go than Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did. Which I'm pretty sure it's going to. If it was up to me, it wouldn't have anything to do with Pokemon Go. But that's just me.
Yeah, personally, same here. They're saying that um, Pokemon Go is likely to have an impact on the Safari Zone if there's something like a Safari Zone, which I think that's acceptable because it's in a lot of games similar to the Safari Zone anyways, so I think that would
That
be pretty fluid there. Um, but
that's their point because in the original Safari Zone, all you could do was just either throw bait, throw rocks, or throw the Safari balls. So I mean that would work perfect. But as
oh
part of
yeah,
that, the
and a
actual
lot of the
gameplay,
sorry.
I was just saying, as far as it being part of the gameplay, I would rather not.
Oh yeah, just keep Pokemon Go in the Safari Zone. Call it Safari Go. But
Well,
yeah, guess that's really all to talk about right now. Um, so if you like what you all have heard today, feel free to give a thumbs up and or to subscribe. Leave any comments, questions, discussions below. We're also open to the ideas of taking suggestions for future videos because, again, this is our first podcast video and we really want to know what you all want to hear and for us to talk about. And we'll even comment on your all's comments just to keep the discussion going. So please feel free to discuss away. But as far as I know, that's all that we have to talk about today. So thank you all so much for listening to our podcast. This is Crystal and Chris signing off, and y'all have a great day.
take care, everybody.